Hey, everybody. Hopefully, everyone is doing well and having a happy Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if this was the best day to do a live because you guys are probably having tacos, hopefully sheltered in place at home. But we'll see how many people tune in. It was going to be a live Q&A. And it looks like we do have a question that was pre-submitted. So as always, I'm going to answer the pre-submitted questions. If you have a question, go ahead and either post it in the story so it pops up on the screen like Brandy Holloway's comments, or type it in the chat boxes. So, you already know the drill. It's not medical advice because I'm not your physician. But I do practice in the Kansas City area. So if you live near me, you should come see me. I also do telemedicine in Joplin, Missouri, so you could see me via there. Okay, so let's get to it. First question is how to deal with acid reflux while fasting. So that is a good question. Obviously, there are many causes of reflux, so you definitely need to work with your medical provider on that. There are certain medications that people take for acid reflux, and again, you have to see if they can or cannot be taken with an empty stomach. And it depends on what time of day the reflux is. So what often helps a lot of people, sometimes reflux can be worse during the evening times, especially when you're in the supine position, like when you're laying down. So typically avoiding having a last meal, at least waiting, or how do I want to say it? At least making sure that your last meal at night is more than 2 to 3 hours from bedtime when you're going to lay supine or lay flat. That tends to help with reflux. So not sure, if you're eating late at night or what's happening there. Probably need a little more information, but that's a good general rule of thumb. And then a lot of people notice over time that the reflux improves as they continue to intermittent fast. Also, I like bone broth, so I don't know if you are vegetarian or not. Some vegetarians do report instead of doing bone broth, they make a homemade vegetable broth. You can save scraps, ends of the vegetables that you either, don't use for whatever reason, and you can cook those similar time, in a slow cooker for several hours and make a vegetable broth also. So some people note that works really well. Technically it breaks your fast, so I would try to maybe open my window with that and see if over time as well reflux improves. If not, then you can use it during your fast if you're having really bad symptoms. But again, I would just caution you that depending on the individual, sometimes that does hinder your results. So you want to make sure that you're not downing cups of it. So troubleshoot and let us know. All right. Anybody else got any questions? I don't see any, but I see more people are joining. Like I said, it is Cinco de Mayo, so this may have been a bad time on my part to plan a live. Maybe we should have done it the next week, and we'll do it next Tuesday as well. Yeah. Well, let me think what to talk about. If you guys haven't checked out my Instagram TV area, I do have a video there that talks about what breaks a fast, because that is a question that I get very often. So if you are curious as to what actually breaks a fast, make sure you check that out. I won't reinvent the wheel by hashing that out, but it's a pretty good video, I think, and answers a lot of kind of basic fasting questions. So I would definitely suggest checking that out. Alrighty. And I'm going to give you guys a last call for people tuning in. If you have any questions, we're going to go once, go twice. And if there aren't any questions, then I am going to say goodnight because we've had a long day today. Oh, someone took me up on the going once, going twice. All right. RFam8 asked a question, what should I do about leg cramps? So cramps can happen for several different reasons. One, I always go back to what's your hydration status like. Remember, intermittent fasting is a natural diuretic, if you will. And so you may think that you're keeping up on fluids and electrolytes, and you may not be. So definitely make sure to hydrate. You can also supplement with salt. And you don't need, a ton of it, but there's also not really any good evidence to support salt or sodium restriction either. So I find a lot of people just aren't taking in enough electrolytes on a day in, day out basis. You can always sprinkle salt on your tongue. Some people like Redmond's real salt. Other people like pink salt. I mean, pick one, just look at the label and make sure it doesn't have dextrose in it, which is another code word for sugar. You may need to up your magnesium intake. So keeping that in mind, you could do magnesium foot soaks or like bath soaks with, the Epsom salt. I find that that's a very cheap and affordable way to supplement with magnesium, rather than, some of the expensive products that are marketed. So that is another thing. A lot of people are always like, oh, could it be, potassium? But it's really hard unless you have a medical condition to, get your potassium low. I know that's what we always say. But you also have to be careful with potassium supplementation if you're taking it in excess, not just from real food. So, I usually start with hydration and just basic salt and then move on to magnesium from there. New Mindset 87 said, do you need electrolytes every day when you're doing keto and fasting? So, usually if you're doing keto, you're getting electrolytes in your food. I mean, I think that's the other misconception is that you need to somehow always supplement. I mean, if you're not, oh, you're welcome, RFam8. If you're eating food and, not doing sodium restriction on your food, and eating a variety of whole products, I mean, in theory, you should get your electrolytes from that. So no, I don't think you need to supplement every day if you're eating a real keto, whole foods approach. If your keto is a bunch of different products and keto treats and all these little things rather than eating real food, then yeah, you may, be at a derangement just because you're not eating real food. But if you're eating real food, most people are fine. If not, you can always salt your food more. A lot of times when I'm fasting, especially if it's anything under 24 hours, I don't have to purposely add salt on my tongue or anything like that because when I eat, I cook with salt. I mean, so it's in my food. So that's just something to keep in mind. Excellent question, New Mindset 87. All right. Well, hey guys, those were great questions. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Cinco de Mayo. And then look over the next weeks. I just got to get my schedule down. I've gotten a lot of joint Instagram requests lately. And so I am going to be in the process of hopefully scheduling those. Keo, who was on earlier, she was, not sure if she's still tuning in. she asked me to do a live, so I got to schedule that. Sports Doc Nancy, we're going to do a live. There were a couple other people in my DMs wanting to do live sessions. So I'm going to see how many of those I can coordinate on Tuesday evenings, because that's just when my schedule allows. Again, the hospital's kind of crazy right now with COVID. So, you know how that goes. I hope you guys are all staying safe and practicing social distancing. And you all have a good night, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, sorry. One more comment. TMHA Tamaha, or it could just be TMHA 45. Always love hearing your insight in podcast. Thank you. I am supposed to do a podcast with I am Dr. Arumala, so I need to get back with her too. I just did a podcast. If you guys haven't listened to that, it was with the Health Investment podcast. Ketogenic Girl and I did one not too long ago also. Those are my more recent ones. And who knows, maybe another month or so I'll do some more. Thanks for all the well wishes, everyone. Thanks for helping me celebrate my birthday yesterday. And you guys have a good night. Bye.